the opener?
Everyone can hear us, but all right. All right. Oh my God. How's everyone doing? So this is
Welcome back.
Yeah. This is a CR game room. We're having our live stream. How's everyone doing tonight?
Normally my answer to that is, I'm above ground kicking, so I'm not complaining. But considering the current scenario around the world, that seems a little macabre. So I'll just say I'm doing good.
That's good. How you doing, Joe?
Doing about as well as I could be, trapped within four walls with four daughters.
Yeah, I'm trapped. Just doing nothing really. Working and that's it. So. So this week we're going to talk about a few things. We got some Magic spoilers, some things coming up for that, and we also have the Invitational tournament finally came to an end after half a year. It seems like, and we'll be we'll be talking about that. It was a marathon session, 2 times to finish it. So we'll be going over that, but we have some crazy things to talk about at first with Magic, just to get it out of the way, and then we can get to spoilers.
Yeah, I'll let you guys deal with the Magic stuff. I'll catch a little nap here. So
yeah. Ryan's gonna tune out for a little bit.
Okay.
Joe, you want to cover the crazy card that it's on screen already?
Oh man. So this card is so crazy. It's so crazy. It's already been banned in Commander. And it's insane. First of all, it's a cute little otter. It's an electric otter. It's otter tribal.
Crazy electric otter. Can I just
Wait, hold on.
What? Who is this?
Someone.
All this nonsense. Well, I think the jig's up anyway because
I know.
I think a little glimpse of me was on the screen.
Well, that's because you were hijacking our broadcast.
All right.
Before the crazy flashing otter arrived, the filthy, dirty park wandering otter that goes around flashing everybody.
That's your nickname, right? True Mr. Six, the flashing otter.
In some circles.
As long as that's the only thing he's flashing, I think we'll be okay. What are you doing on this stream?
Oh no!
From the waist down right now, Ryan. You don't know what's going on.
And you know what? It could stay that way because also you don't know what's going on from waist down on me either.
Don't you talk like that? I can see the lust in your eyes. Come on.
No, the lust in my eyes is for the spoon. That's what.
That you finally got.
Yep.
I might have a spoon around. Oh no, it's upstairs.
I hear that you never go out without a spoon, is what I hear.
Well, at least 3, Chris.
Yeah.
At least 3. You never know when you need to award a spoon.
No.
It's one of those facts of life, isn't it?
All right, yeah. So we had a full thing planned, and we put out some hints in the description of everything that True Mr. Six was going to be on. This is a last-minute thing. He decided to crash the party, but I crashed it ourselves by not doing it correctly, so my bad.
Now, it's going to be hard for me here because there's 2 Chris's. So, when I say Chris, it's going to be, the CR Game Room Chris. When I, say Six, it'll be you, Mr. Six. So,
okay, just don't put a few words there and make any Freudian slips.
I'm sure, but I'm a little I'm a little glad, but I'm a little upset that there was no, MOD April Fool's joke this year.
Well, yeah, that went horribly wrong last week. That went horribly wrong last week. Was it an April Fool's? Wasn't it an April Fool's? The community will have to decide.
Oh, all right.
We may have to wait
me,
until
that's for sure.
that Phoenix Saga arrives to find out whether it's legit or not.
So how is everything going over there in jolly old Britain?
In jolly old England?
Sure.
Well, it's the dead of night over here, my man. It's
awfully quiet.
I think you're here to prove that the world is round, and you're here to prove that because it's a different time of the day.
Well, yeah. Well, you know, I said to Ross last night actually on the weekly dice reader. I said, in these demic times, time means nothing. It's meaningless.
Too true.
It just passes. Doesn't it? Day or night, don't matter.
All right. So yeah, we the organization of the fight that you guys have been going on for so long, it seems very long, winding, and
We were actually very
You know,
close to having everything scheduled up and ready for us to have our match, but unfortunately, this thing known as COVID-19 came along, and I can't speak for everyone, but my schedule has not been the same since, and so trying to find some time to schedule a match in this is has not been easy, but we are, as far as my side, I'm getting close to being able to actually have some free time again. So we're gonna get back on the bandwagon of getting this match squared away. So
you heard it here first. Ryan's running.
It's you know, this whole thing is a win-win for me because if I win the game, I win the game. If I lose, then Ryan just looks like he's bullied a really bad player. I can't. I
you
can't
say
come out
you're
of
a
this
bad
badly in
player,
any way.
but our first monthly thing, which was competitive, meta, you actually won. So either the
Yeah.
rest of the competitive players are bad, or you're a lot better than you're letting on.
That's to put the bants down for a minute. That is just a prime example of the 100 games theory in practice because that collector team that I used for 2 years now, I've been tinkering
Yeah.
with, playing with, tinkering with, playing with. So uh, I was operating on some level of kind
Muscle
of muscle
memory.
memory, really. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Which I don't, not to dismiss what the other players were doing, but every scenario I'd encountered many, many times before over that old modern
Yeah.
meta period, and I've played it at two national championships. I've played it
hey
at
Jordo.
WKOs. You know,
Jodo asked who the homeless guy is.
yeah, man. I know most of you have been self isolating for like 2 or 3 weeks. I've actually self isolated for 6 months. Look at me.
You were ahead of the curve.
Yeah,
He was already trying to
I knew
stomp
what
it
was
out.
going on.
I mean, I think on your channel, I've seen a few of your videos where you guys are just playing an iteration of that team that you played. So it is a team that you just knew backwards and forwards, and it's yeah. I mean, it makes sense taking a team that you like and you know.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, anyone who does listen to the podcast or watch the videos will know that my partner in crime, Andy, is a massive advocate of the old. Oh, what's the guy's name that he's basically in love with? The dude who came up with the 100 game strategy, anyway. And when we first started playing together and hanging out over Hangouts a lot, I was of the school of make a different team each week. It's no secret that I'm more of a casually focused guy. I'm not really. I don't have that competitive switch in my head.
hmm
Um, and Andy said, "No, you got to knuckle down, get your 100 games in." And he made me practice and play the same game. And I was restless and bored and fed up. And I kind of went through the other side and fell in love with the collector in a different kind of way.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, you're right. And those games are only a small handful of examples. You know, we play all night long when we get together, me and Andy, and we'll record maybe one or two of them and post them. So
Mm.
yeah.
Yeah. I mean, last year you did really well at the UK Games Expo, and you didn't you place there at the very least, or
Um, at the UK Nationals,
yeah, UK Nats.
yeah, so it was the year before. We didn't have a
Oh.
Nationals last year. That was
Oh.
we had the Euro Championship.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
But yeah, UK Nats 2018, I came in the top four.
Yeah.
So again, you're
Um,
reiterating the point that you're actually a better player than you let on most times.
but it was that same collector team, right? It was that same collector team. He's just trying to play the expectations game now. Him over here. Hang on, which
Yeah.
side are you
So
on?
the next the next question I have for you here is the fact we have our April monthly tournament, and you have already signed up for it,
I have,
and
yeah.
the meta is what are you planning on bringing? Are you gonna continue with your collector or?
No, I don't think so. It's probably time to put that one to bed, really. Um, Plus,
I
I'm
mean,
not sure
you're
I
not
can
going to give
handle
it one
another.
last hurrah, you know?
No, I'm not sure I can handle another night of Ben telling me how bad my team is and how badly I'm playing it.
He does that
Whether
every time. He does that every time. That's Ben.
Well, this time Ben's actually going to be participating in the tournament, not
he is,
commentating on
yeah,
it. So,
So
yeah,
he can tell you
uh,
while he's playing you.
yeah.
yeah, for sure, absolutely, yeah. I mean, in the grand scheme of times me and Ben have played each other, he's definitely got the higher ratio of wins to losses. Yeah, I don't know, to be honest, Ryan. I mean, the meta right now for me isn't my style of meta. I was playing some games earlier on tonight that, and I was facing up against God Catchers and Becky Lynch's and Rocks that I'm not a kind of beat stick combat kind of guy. So I'll have to I'll make something up in time. I certainly won't be getting 100 games in on this one in time, unless I go for an old school team that like a boom boom list or something that I'm a fan of.
I
I mean,
mean,
the possibilities are still open. It's current modern, so you still have a whole plethora. You
Yeah.
have 2.5 years worth of games to, or worth of product to look at. So
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. But I think anyone who's playing in that event, there's a decision to make as to how much you sit in that old meta, or how much do you say, right? Well, actually, it's time to move on. Even though it is a 2019 stroke 2020 modern
yeah.
meta, do I make a team that's actually the win conditions, one of the newer win conditions, or play around?
So I like that
So
train of thought a lot. Getting ahead of the curve.
mm,
Trying to start working towards the learning curve that everybody else is eventually going to be on if they're not ready to give up current modern.
yeah, yeah. So we'll
plus,
see.
Well, and speaking of the April event, some of the things we've discussed, again, we have it limited to 8 players in the tournament for the April one shot. We currently have 5 people signed up for it. Um, so I will say this: if we can get all 8 people, all 8 slots filled uh, before the end of this weekend, we will go ahead and increase the count on it. And additionally, we are talking about, because of the changes. Most people are not able to go to stores to play. Let us know if you'd like us to try to run these more than just once a month,
Yep.
so that people can get some more games in.
and we'll be scheduling around everyone else doing tournaments because we don't want to interrupt anyone else's
Yeah, we're
tournament schedule going on.
No, I don't put yours on the same night as the team of the month. I'm sure that'll be fine.
Oh my god, no! I don't
We're
want
never
to
going
do.
to live that
how,
down.
how about we put it at the same as the not the weekly dice arena, but dice fight.
Put
To
it
Oh
on a
take over
Thursday
the
night.
dice
Yeah,
flight site.
yeah.
Yeah.
Thursday afternoons.
Yeah. One, I wouldn't be able to do it. It'd be all you guys. That's fine. But yeah, uh, I don't know. We had such a good response from the last one, and it was really fun, and everyone was like really easygoing and cool. We don't want to step on your toes, Matt. We're not gonna let you.
We're not. We're not trying to steal anybody's
Yeah.
thunder. It's a
Yeah,
community. It's a community effort.
Yeah.
man. But
There you go.
so
Stirring that pot.
all right. So what else did you guys want to talk about?
Actually, who? So we mentioned it briefly
Mhm.
in the lead up, but who was the winner of this endurance race that was the finals and grand finals?
All right. Well, I wasn't sure if we wanted to switch over to the Magic spoilers and then come back to that, or
No,
Magic
we want to
so
spoilers
go
were a
into
that's
ploy.
anticipation. All
that
right.
was
No,
a
not,
ruse. I
we're
can
not.
spend hours that people don't want
Well,
to hear talking about spoilers.
so
I
yeah,
could
here,
talk
let
about
me
the
pull
electric
up
otter
the
if you like.
challenge
The
bracket
flashing
here real
electric
fast,
otter.
just so I have it all in front of me. Uh, but yeah, we did get a victory here. Uh, well,
It
It,
was
that's
it,
this.
the
It
wrong
was a long
tournament.
video to make my way through.
Oh, you actually watched it. You sat through the
Oh
two
yeah,
and a
of
half
course.
hours of that match.
Yeah,
5 hours total for the championship and then the grand finals. Ugh. It
I
was
gotta
Yeah. So
say, go ahead. Sorry.
no, go ahead. Go ahead.
I gotta say, I did not sleep so well as I did that night after we got off commentating because that was just. I'm pretty sure it was worse for the players, but that was an endurance race for us in the booth alone, because towards the end they just started doing whatever they wanted to do, and we were like, where is this going?
Yeah.
We were just on this emotional roller coaster.
And I've seen a few of their matches, and they were not following their normal way they go. So as we're commenting, I'm like, well, this is the normal. No, he's not doing his normal thing. All right. So I don't know. I don't know what
He
they're
juked
doing.
Well,
us.
they played each other a couple of times though, haven't they? Through the
Yeah, they
event.
Yeah,
played each other a
that's
total
one
of
of the
3
things I was
times.
going to say. Yeah.
Sorry, Ryan,
So, starting off in losers round 5, we had Ben Scott versus Jacques Blonde, so James, and while that was going on, we right before that one, we had in the winners bracket Yort versus Jackalope Spam, so Nick.
Versus Troy.
Troy versus Nick there, and Troy was victorious there, and went on a couple weeks break, waiting to figure out who he was going to be playing against. So at that point, James defeated Ben, and at this point, it was then James versus Nick, and at this point, Troy had defeated both of them, and Troy was the reason they were both in the loser bracket. So no matter what, Troy was going to be facing off against someone he'd already played against. So that put a serious advantage to Troy. He'd already defeated both of them and already played against both those teams. Nick got the victory, and then in the match against Nick versus Troy, we had Nick win, which, because this is a double elimination tournament, that means Troy had got a rematch. And so it went instantly back to a match between the two of them, and Troy was able to sneak out a victory to become the 2019 two-team takedown invitational champion.
Round of applause, everyone.
Way to go, Troy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Troy was.
So it was a very long road to get there. I tried to paraphrase it as best I could, and that was even long. So
it was a slog fest between them. They knew how to play each other, and it was quite evident. And it was just like, after the first match, I was like, oh man, we got to do another one of those. That's gonna be brutal.
Yeah. But it's one of those. It's that weird thing that you look in the winners bracket, when you look at the challenge bracket there, the winners bracket. The last 3 matches are Troy and Nick, Troy and Nick, Troy and Nick. So it just shows the two of them, were on top of their game there. So.
And
Troy's a very kind of cautious, studious player, though, as well, isn't he? That's by his own admission.
Yeah.
That's very evident.
So, but yeah, I'd like to first thank everyone that participated in the tournament. It was absolutely fantastic turnout there. I believe during my little bit of a hiatus here, you guys announced the next tournament.
Yes, we did.
So,
as was the schedule,
by the 17th of April.
Yep. Yeah.
There you go.
This guy.
He's on top of it here.
Someone's good at promotion.
Yeah,
man.
Why don't I let you deal with the rest of it here? You know what's going on more than I do.
Uh-oh.
Sign-ups by the 17th of April. Teams by the 24th. Tournament starts, and then I didn't. Chris was talking too quick on the last episode, so I didn't get that.
Oh, I'm
And
sorry.
then I wrote new modern,
Mm-hmm.
2-team takedown. So that's how nerdy I am. I make notes while you're streaming.
I'll have to be more studious about not going too fast for you. But it's the 27th isn't it the 27th, Ryan?
It should be the 27th is the start of the tournament.
Okay. And everyone has a week. Oh, no.
Oh, no.
No.
Oh, man.
He got so upset with us that he dropped. He was just like, nope, done.
Oh, man. This is weird.
This is awkward.
Yeah, it's completely not set up for any of this. Oh, no.
Hold up. Well, technical difficulties, folks.
Hold on. All right, we'll just talk in the meantime. I just have to squirrel up.
Oh, no.
Oh,
Okay.
no. So
Chris,
this,
can you take us off the scene, or is that
I'm
too
on
much
the
to
just the
ask?
squirrel scene.
Oh,
So
okay, all right,
Yeah. All right. So don't get to see our faces, but you do get to hear our voices. So
that's
uh,
unfortunate.
yeah. So
So,
yeah, we
go ahead.
next two team takedown, as Joe mentioned,
It
is
was
going to be, not
Kim. She
was.
ruined the. Come on, Kim, you're messing us up here. Had a special guest and
Um,
everything.
but yeah, it's going to be the new modern. So the modern that officially goes live May 2020. We're going to go ahead and start it early. No bans. This is not part of the legacy or anything like that. So winning teams do not get added to the legacy list or anything like that. Um, there's no max number of players in this. So as many as you want to sign up, sign up. Uh, need to. We've got the sign up sheet on crgr.rocks, so please sign up. Uh, let's see, what else am I missing on that one?
um,
Trying to cover for you a little bit, Chris, while you're
You can
trying to fix the
be.
audio.
I'm
You
not
could
gonna be able to
be.
fix it. Just,
Yeah,
yeah, just go with whatever right now. Yeah, I'll fix it real quick.
yeah. So it was the 17th. You have to be signed up by the 17th. Team submitted by the 24th, and it goes live on the 27th of all of that of April. So you've got a couple of weeks here. Um, well, we got a lot of people in the chat here.
Thanks for showing up, everybody.
Yeah.
And then the side note on that, there will be some competitive teams. There will be some casual teams. It's a bit of a mix. So
Well, I'm,
don't let that cloud your judgment on that. First, we'll have new players as well. That's the other thing that I was gonna say. We're gonna
well,
have
and
brand
again,
new
the whole
people.
thing with the two team takedown is, you have to split your cards up a little bit, and so yeah, you should be trying to rejoin the Discord call that we were
Yeah, you can
on.
just jump back into the Discord call as soon as
Yeah,
you connect, reconnect.
yeah. All this fixing is doing nothing. Then uh,
Yeah, just put join call at the very top of the conversation if you're on the web browser, which you should be. Yeah. So yeah, the two team takedown. I'm happy to announce that I do know of 2 or 3 people that will be joining completely new to the two team takedown series. So welcome all you who are interested and who want to play, and it's a good time to play with the new modern because it's a completely wide open format. There's not a current legacy ban in place, so it's four to the or pedal to the metal there.
all
You'll
right.
have to bear with us, folks.
Sorry, was not expecting these technical difficulties. um,
Matt is on one tonight. Come on,
Yeah,
Jordan.
we currently have 5 people signed up for the invitational, or not the two team takedown spring, and yeah, so uh, we got a couple of recurring players, but yeah, as Joe mentioned, we do also have a couple of brand new players here.
Oh my gosh.
all right.
Yeah.
Is it
Actually,
going?
6 was nude from the waist down, apparently, and I think that's maybe why we lost his connection. Is he had to stand up and go somewhere or something? I don't know.
That's probably explains everything.
Yeah.
Um, almost done, gents.
So, actually, I did want to talk a little bit about. So, over the last week, so yeah, sign up for the two team takedowns, or two team takedown, and also the monthly one shots. And please let us know if you guys, or if everybody in the audience, wants to have more of them, given the current circumstances. We will keep our schedules open, and we will be willing to start another tournament if we get all 8 people signed up for this upcoming one, and there's a high demand for another one, we'll go ahead and do that. But yes, over the past week, over the last week, I'm sorry, we had a couple of things happen all on the same day. As a matter of fact, we had the good people at WizKids and the rules forum update several rules. Now, I
Hmm.
don't want to go over them in too much detail, but it does clarify a lot of the questions that have been asked by our very own Troy. He kind of polled the forum, so to speak. And then we also had Jimmy chime in for some short answers
Hmm.
to all those questions. And some of the biggest ones, Ryan, do you have it pulled up right now?
I've got the WizKids rule forum pulled up,
Okay.
but
Some of the bigger ones were the distinction between what counts as prepping for mankind's ability,
mhm.
and then the other one was, does Jerry Lawler Global double all damage or just combat damage?
Right. Yeah. So the specific rulings, there was mankind's prep. There was a clarification on obscure, a clarification on tag out, and then as you mentioned, Jerry Lawler's global specifically was in reference to Thanos, and
The
Overcrush.
double over crushing, yes.
But in general, it was, is it, which damage is it doubling in the process, type thing. So we did get some rulings there. It was very nice seeing those. I unfortunately missed the live stream Jimmy did with the Infinity Gauntlet product.
Opening,
So
yes. And that was another thing that I really wanted to go over, was that we saw a couple of new cards out of that, specifically the Super Giant. Oh, are we back? We have it? Oh, okay.
No, no. I've got the
Okay.
screen filled out now. All right, cool, cool, cool.
Okay. So specifically the specifically the Supergiant, and then we saw a little bit more from the Black Order, which is great. Things that are, cards that we haven't seen before in any of the spoilers.
So yeah, I think it's they just got a glut of them out right now, and that was really good. Glad that they finally got some responses for that and everything like that. Um, and I'm sorry, I just kind of flustered right
I'm
now.
answering him right now.
well, and to answer one of the questions in there, there is also a new podcast, DM United, and of course the Double Double. I know I'm mispronouncing. I'm forgetting the full name on that one.
The double double and dice.
Yeah.
Yeah, Double Double and Dice.
With
I have been completely behind on all of my podcasts, so no, I have not listened to any of the DM United or the Double and Dice, nor have I actually watched any of the previous CR Game Room live shows that I was not on. That's how far behind I am.
oh,
So
okay, sorry.
Yeah.
They were really big on that apostrophe because apparently websites can be tricky, or podcast sites
sorry,
can be
Double
tricky.
Double and Dice, not
Yeah,
and
there you
Dice.
go.
Yeah, I listen. I've listened to all their podcasts. I've tried to listen to everything that's up on YouTube because I at work it's easier for me to. I work at home and I all the time, and it's easier for me to listen to this stuff on YouTube than it is for anything else because I don't have to go to anywhere else. They had an interesting one this week, and the audio was much better on the podcast, and it sounded great. And I think they're really developing and putting in good work and making it sound great for everyone. So if you haven't checked it out, please check out their podcast. And Ben and Ben and James and Peter VDV have that other podcast. What is that one called?
DM United.
DM United. Okay, okay. I haven't had a chance to check it out. I've been meaning to, but I it should be fine. I like all those guys, so they're pretty good. So, um,
And Rolling Thunder, I'm so far behind on that one as well. I'm behind on the MOD ones. I'm behind on all of my podcasts. So please take no offense, or don't rejoice in the fact that I haven't listened to them either. If you're the MOD guys, I will get to them.
I,
So
I think if Ryan hasn't listened to you, you might be doing good.
yeah.
um, oh man.
Oh, so getting back to the Infinity Gauntlet stuff, super excited. We didn't get to see a full art basic action, which is
Mhm.
what Jimmy was really hoping for. But we did get clarification on some of the distribution between the rares and if the foil basic actions were going to be taking the place of certain rares. And actually, they will just be taking the place of one of the 3 basic action slots. So you're still guaranteed to get that super rare or that really nice shiny rare uh, in the pack.
So, how many packs did he open? Did he open the whole
He
He
opened the
opened the
8?
whole
box.
he opened the whole box. He didn't get to
And
the other one. He gave us a hint that he was going to get with the marketing team to send that off to a content creator to see if they can spoil that. Um, which fingers crossed. Um,
Probably ain't us. um, but
yeah. So no, yeah. So a little sad to see the fact
hey,
that he's coming back.
there he
Hey,
is.
What did you do to my computer, Chris?
I threw it away.
What did you do?
I don't know, man. All
and
right.
now
Is
it's all screwed up
this,
again.
Yeah,
is this some kind of sabotage on Ryan's part?
it is.
It's you in it, Ryan.
He's trying to make you look
Always.
like a fool.
I'm the technical expert of CRGR, so if there's a technical issue, it's on my side, of course.
I don't need any help looking like a fool, Chris.
So, Mister Mister Six, to keep this thing going. What were your thoughts about the rules updates? What things made you happy or made you or confused you more so about those rules updates? Do
I don't
you
really do.
okay?
You know, I don't really do rules. I know that's really unhelpful for.
You know what's really
um,
unhelpful? Dropping out of the call in the middle of a stream. That's really unhelpful. I'm just kidding.
that was Ryan did that. Um, it was definitely Ryan's. I think the thing
All the
the
way
thing with
from
rules in
Texas,
this,
I took out his internet.
yeah, I saw you. I saw you. Shuffling outside.
Don't look out the window. Just don't.
Well, more so. Okay, more so. I don't know if you saw Jimmy's opening of the draft box. Did you see that?
I saw that. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. What were your thoughts on that?
I was disappointed not to see a full art basic action card.
Yeah,
Um,
I think literally everybody
Yeah, well,
was.
to me, the frustration there is the fact that out of a full display, you're not guaranteed to get at least one.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
And
If we're
so,
saying
from
anything.
the completionist collectors amongst us, that is very disheartening to hear and see. You know,
I like once everything's said and done, I'd like someone to do the math on that and see how many
thanks for joining us,
it's
Jocelyn.
probably going to be like one every 1.5 to 1.25. So to get a full set and not get a multiple, it's going to be insane. That's why from the start of doing of them saying that they're going to have full arts, I don't care about it because it's just going to be something
and
I
it's
won't get.
people like you that I'm just going to trade to try to get them versus
Oh,
just
if I
buy
get
sets
it,
to get them.
if I get it, I ain't trading it.
Yeah, that's unfortunately that's the normal. Most people are like, if I get one, I get one, but I'm not going to hunt them down.
Yeah.
So
What else? Anything in particular about the characters? I mean, the foiling. What did you think about the foiling?
yeah, I noticed you commented as Jimmy was going along saying that the foiling was interesting. I must admit I didn't notice it particularly.
Yeah.
So it's hard, isn't it? Until it's in your hand and you got it, you got it there in
now
front of you.
I haven't watched the video. What was the issue on the foiling or the comment on it?
No
little-
issue.
A little bit rainbowy.
So
Okay.
the thing about the foiling is that each card, from what I remember, each card was done differently during the foiling process. For each card was done differently according to their art.
Mm-hmm.
And some of them it made it look amazing, and then other ones didn't look so great.
Okay.
But
So
it's
it's
just
not just
different.
a generic
Yeah,
foil across the top of it. It's actually based on the art and all that stuff. So.
correct.
Okay.
Robert is a fanboy of the foiling, so yeah.
I mean, I liked the majority of them, but there was one or two of them where I was just like, and you can't even really. The art doesn't even pop. It's just lost in the foiling, and I think that was more the angle that he was holding them at, but still.
It might also have been the artifacting from the internet. Also, that it wasn't. I don't know. The internet kept going in and out and all that. It was just like, yeah.
Yeah, and it is. I mean,
as we've
as you
already
said,
seen, the internet is very reliable.
very. For those of us,
Oh, there you go. See?
On cue.
That is what we call perfect timing.
Joe, are you there?
Joe with his brand new internet today.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. I don't know. The foiling, it's probably gonna be fine. Honestly, when you get it in your hand, I'm like you, Chris. It's like once you get it in your hand, you're like, oh, okay, that's what it looks like.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, no, I mean, as far as foiling, I agree. I need to see it in my hand before I'll comment on it, because looking at it on a screen, there's, especially over a live internet broadcast, you're not going to get enough detail out of it to really form a good opinion on it.
Yeah, it's just one of those things. But I think this, as far as the box opening goes, it was a bit of an interesting phenomenon with this one, because it was the set that was used for the preview draft at Memphis. We'd already seen a lot of the cards. So as some of the juicier game texts were getting held up by Jimmy up to the screen, I was like, well, that is a juicy game text, and you're right to make a fuss over it. But I saw the one with the prototype watermark on it last November. And I think one of the things that I find with WizKids, I wrote about it some time ago, is that this balance in terms of when do you spoil, yeah, exactly. When do you spoil? What's your timetable? And then when they do kind of get the timing right, the set gets delayed, or a worldwide pandemic kicks off. And so, while I'm pleased to see the main Facebook page is now getting Dice Masters related content, and it's not that guy with the t-shirts that are too small talking about HeroClix. I'm also. Well, it's true.
We need somebody like that, though. I'll be honest with you. We need somebody like that. We need a celebrity, even if it's a C-lister. We need a celebrity that does that.
Not a Z-lister, Chris. Not a Z-lister.
Come on, I'm at least a W lister.
Okay, I'll give you that. This is something I've said before, that they kind of they almost set themselves up for failure on when they release these spoilers. People get super excited, and by the time it actually comes around, like, yeah, we've already seen 3 other sets spoiled since that one was spoiled. What's the point?
I mean, WWE was kind of the exact opposite. We
didn't see anything.
We had so little as far as spoilers up until the day before. 2 days before. Mad rush of spoilers. To me, that was too little, too late. But you look at the Waterdeep spoilers. It was spoiled, almost 6 months in advance, if not more. There's got to be a better in between.
And well, see, the thing, and I'm possibly repeating myself, and apologies to anyone watching who's heard.
We beat dead horses around here all the time. You're okay.
Absolutely, is that what we've got here is an organisation in WizKids that is run by fans. They're board gaming fans, but they're not necessarily professionally skilled. And I don't mean that to be quite as derogatory as it sounds, but they're not necessarily professionally skilled in the business skill sets that surround what they're doing. So Jimmy, I love the guy on one level because he gets swept up with the momentum. He gets the same level of passion as we do. As he's cracking open the box, he's wearing the hoodie with the with the lantern ring colours on it. He is like us in that respect, but they're not necessarily marketeers in the sense of what you'd get from, I don't know, an organisation that like Wizards of the Coast or Fantasy Flight that are actually paying marketeers who might not necessarily be board game fans or tabletop fans. I don't know if I'm articulating myself particularly well there, but
no, I hear what you're saying, and to a part of it, I agree with it. I don't have a whole lot of involvement, with Jimmy and stuff like that, so I'm not going to say I'm speaking specifically on an individual, but from what I've seen as an organization, you're right. It's one of those. The left hand doesn't know so much what the right hand is doing at all times.
Yeah.
And as such, things get lost in communication quite often. And so, as fans of the game and players of the game, we get caught up in, we see every little mistake that they make, and it frustrates us at times. So, with that said, I would like to praise them for as Chris mentioned, they are mentioning Dice Masters more on their main website, on the main Facebook page. They're we're not the redheaded stepchild that's swept into the corner.
They have much worse
We're
redheaded stepchildren than us, so
right. Well, they're bringing us out, going, hey, maybe you might want to look at this.
Well,
So
I think there's deeper layers to this as well. We have to remember that we belong to a small, concentrated, very firmly dedicated clique. I think we were joking earlier on, about the fact that I knew your launch dates for the 2-team takedown, but I consume everything Dice Masters
yeah.
all the time.
But how easy is it for you to do that though? All you have to do is just spend an afternoon to consume the entirety of the new stuff that comes out.
Yeah, sure, and I don't disagree, Joe. But what I can tell you is that, like BritRoller6.com, I published that Dark Phoenix Saga spoiler 8 days ago now. But
Mm-hmm.
my analytics are telling me that people are still happening across and visiting that page and reading that site and spending 10+ minutes on it. So there is a casual circle of players outside of our central clique who actually probably aren't observing these issues and will be excited by Facebook Live box opening by Jimmy. So there's a bit of perspective sometimes, I think, that we need to
Yeah.
to balance the argument a bit.
So yeah, when comparing our online community to the casual consumer, they outnumber us by about 10-1, but they also they also have other stuff that they're doing that if they aren't as dedicated. But going back to the reason why I brought that up, that it's easy to consume all of our content is because we're still small. We're still a very small community that if you were to go and dedicate just an afternoon, you would consume all of the newest content that was made within the last month. And that's really saying more to whereas with HeroClix and their other IPs, there's still constant like weekly monthly videos that take a while to consume because they put out so much of it.
Yeah,
I
they'll
bet
find a groove.
Chris, I bet you could speak to this a little bit more. How many of those searches are people that are like going to that Dark Phoenix Saga spoiler? How many of it are through Google searches or through direct just on your website, on your page, like they normally do? You might have those analytics available, but
Yeah,
I bet it's more through Google.
Yeah, it can vary depending on the type of article. So the mod cribs
Mm-hmm.
videos and the summaries that I post that include those videos in a kind of compilation, they are all the
How's it
large
going?
majority of traffic is coming from social media advertising like Facebook,
Mm-hmm.
or is coming from my subscribers, from my followers.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas when I make a spoiler post, so when I was covering Ross and Steve on their stream, shout out to DM Armada and Weekly Dice Arena, when I was covering their stream and I was basically stealing their spoilers and writing about them.
As one does.
Sorry, I was drawing inspiration from their content. As so
no, you
many
had it right the first time.
Most of my traffic was coming from external sources. Now, it can't always tell me on the analytics what those external sources are, but Google and Bing are the large majority.
Yeah.
So there are people typing the phrase Dice Masters spoilers
Mm-hmm.
and happening across me, DM North, Steve's videos, but when you look at the kind of wider analytics, the wider search engine optimization analytics about it, Dice Masters does not rank as a high search at all. And in fact, people are often happening across the game by looking for dice game or tabletop game,
Or the
Or
IPs
Marvel
themselves.
game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because we get an increase with every new IP of just players in general, like
W-
new players.
and I think one of the differences between WWE and every other set is WWE kind of carries it a name with it. that people don't expect to be dice masters, and so it kind of brought a thing to it that wasn't that I think all of us as that that are in the dice masters community knew was going to bring a large portion. So they didn't have to spoil it that much. They didn't have to let us know anything ahead of time. They probably just put something out on social media saying, "Hey, look for WWE Dice Masters," and then people just started doing searches and found all the spoils.
Well, they had their WWE HeroClix
Mm-hmm.
releases, and I'm sure they were just seeing the influx coming from that. They're just like, we don't even have to do anything. Just
Yeah.
the name's going to bring it in and whatnot. Uh, but I'm speculating at this point. I'm sure there was some back end issues on availability of product to get it out to for content creators to review and spoil and whatnot. Because I mean the product is coming from China, and you know the the big C19 has been an issue over there for a while, that it's disrupted a lot of things. So
What's that? Is that there's a thing going on?
yeah.
COVID-19, yeah. Don't know if you heard about it over there across the pond.
So
See, that's
moving.
saying the word gets you
No.
down in the
Yes,
YouTube
actually,
algorithms.
that is
They
So-
changed
actually
it.
true.
They changed
Oh, I know
it.
they've changed it. I know they've
Yeah.
changed it. It's just
What's
Well,
not
moving-
particularly transparent for us is sorry, Joe.
No. Go ahead. No, you're good.
What's not particularly transparent, and what may never be particularly transparent for us, is that we don't have WizKids insider data. There's somebody with a spreadsheet right now that says, when we release a D&D set, we see spikes in sales across these sales channels. When we have a WWE set, we've seen spikes in sales across these types of channels. We don't know what they're calculating in terms of what's
Analytics.
revenue generating. What we also don't know is how much of a disparity there is between retailer and wholesaler. So my local gaming store right now on Dice Masters is actually getting quite a low level of kind of shelf stock and operating off pre-orders, because they know they've got 10 of us who'll scoop up a new release.
That's great,
or
actually.
we'll want 2 or 3 extra sets for some drafts. But what we don't know is, we're seeing photos of shelves of what's dead stock for the retailer,
Mhm.
but from WizKids numbers is a sales number. So the depth of what's going on here is actually much deeper. And going back to the original point, in that we're so close to it, the minute Jimmy makes a Facebook post, I'm on top of that notification, and I'm getting it onto the UK Dice Masters page. Hey folks, check this out, there's a thing going on here, because we're part of that central clique. We don't have sight of what's going on behind that. Yeah, thanks, Steve. The wife's choice.
why don't you show the picture I was commenting about earlier over your other shoulder there?
Well, some people might have seen this before, so
It's beautiful.
that's a Stuart common Kate Bishop with a bit of a Mr. Six twist. Got the shades and the tash there. This was actually the first place prize at one of the MOPDMs we held in 2019, obviously, which I won. So I set up an event and then won it.
Collusion.
I mean,
What he's not telling is he's the only one who showed up to the event.
Oh
Well, it was me and Andy.
and you beat him. Oh,
Gentleman's handshake. He wanted the wall art.
Yes, yeah.
I want the spoon.
Andy,
You want the
Andy's very
art?
sorry you couldn't be here, by the way.
Yeah.
Very sorry you couldn't join us.
Yeah,
Likes the psychedelics.
it's definitely all right.
Yeah, reportedly 8 times stronger than the on the street stuff you can get now. True story.
So speaking of all of this, all these views being generated and all this news, and how we're so much closer to it. In actuality, we have seen an uptick in activity from the community, whether it's in part to the current healthcare crisis or health crisis going on. With, I'm not going to say the name, but everybody knows what I'm talking about. Whether it's due to that, or whether it's due to more and more people coming with those new IPs like WWE and the newest Waterdeep set. We need to ride that momentum. I feel like yeah, us as content creators, we can do what we've already been doing and produce newer content for it, especially since there's a rotation, which means that there's going to be new and healthier combos out, and more teams and strategies to explore, right? So instead of just going back over the collector, uh, Mr. Six, you could be going on and doing other teams, and sort of falling in love again with newer strategies or just old strategies that you get to have a different take on, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Although I think everybody here watching the stream and on stream with me knows that whatever's going on, I'll find some shite to churn on about on some content channel somewhere. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, you're absolutely right. And the game certainly it's evolved. It's evolved a great deal since I first started playing all those years ago. And I think it is a much more attractive game to a new player to come into now. If you listen to the Ministry of Dice on Monday, the podcast coming out on Monday, then one of the subjects that me and Andy talk about is what might the impact of the transition from LCG back to a blind product be. And when we talk about this idea of are WizKids capable marketeers, is that up and down transition of format and delivery model going to impact on the way that people pick up the game? I have a concern that right now, certainly here in the UK, I can't speak worldwide, but
Mhm.
certainly in the UK, I think one of the contributing factors um, to the Angry Vikings and the Monkey 1985s and the Mr. McCats of the world joining the scene and getting heavily involved was because it was a level playing field in terms of the card pool, and that everybody could get their hands on the same
Yep.
card content. And talking about the stream, Jimmy's stream, and the spoilers, gotta keep it all interconnected for you, Joe. Um,
Thank you.
one of the things I was noticing, to go right back to our original point, was that the coloured bar across the bottom, I was like, that's a great card, and I'd love to play with that, and it excites me a great deal. But that's a yellow stripe on that bad boy,
Mhm.
you know. Or the Master Mold spoiler that may or may not be legit is a super rare, and
Yep.
that looks like a real fun card to play either casually or competitively, even. But it's got a red stripe on it, you know.
Yeah, that's been my problem. I've personally liked the fact that they have all the cards in there because I mean, I have, I don't have all the money in the world to be spending stuff on cards. And in fact, on TOA, I bought 3 packs and hoping I was going to get the Yanti because I had a team planned for it and I was going to go with it. I was like, I'm going to just buy this, and if I don't get it, I'm not going to get Yanti. I'm not going to worry about it. I got it, and
Well, yeah, and
it was great. But that's not going to happen anymore because I don't want to do that. That's crazy. I want to have everything all at once.
yeah, and there are many people who feel the same way as you do, Chris.
Mhm.
And I think in my experience, at least, that one of the things that I've done certainly in my local communities here in the United Kingdom to keep that fresh and alive is to play around with the type of formats. I mean, I know that. So um, me and Joe are a great example of this. Joe, your juices get flowing around the competitive stuff. You love the competitive element of the game. I'm very much a guy who gets his juices flowing because I like single affiliation and I like knowing what happens when you play Avengers against Justice League. And both of those have their place in the game. But one of the things that help individuals like yourself out, Chris, is like, well, I can't go all in and own every super rare. Well, that's okay because we'll put a format on where you will have cards in your collection you can use,
Mhm.
and your B version of a function on a team can have a place in that casual format. You know, so the game actually has a lot of flexibility to suit that. You know, because it's designed for mum, dad, and 2 kids to play it on the kitchen table. Really,
Mhm.
we're the lunatics
Mhm.
who were trying to do
Yeah.
20-point kills in turn 3.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can tell by the way the wording and everything, and so a lot of the abilities are formatted that it's made for simple kitchen table play. It really is. That's who they sell to. That's their market, right? They put on nationals and they put on worlds as side events to major game fairs that they show up to. They aren't the main attraction themselves. It wasn't until last year when they did the thing in Memphis that they finally started putting some effort into that aspect of it, and they still had to get help from the community. Our very own Ryan and Armada, and
Ross.
as well as
Ross.
Ross,
Ross, they put their heart and soul into making sure that everybody got a glimpse of what competitive Dice Masters was. Because if it weren't for that, we would have heard about it in a written article. And you think of the loss there of transparency versus a live stream and being able to interact and see all these people interact and come up with these different competitive plays. Now, going back to the LCG versus non-LCG model, I agree that it's great for everybody when you have all the cards in one set and you have that availability. I like the ability to draft cards though, because that's a different type of format, that's a different type of dice masters that actually I tend to play sometimes too. Like we do TOA drafts at Docs every once in a while, and I love those. I love drafting because it gets the competitive player and the competitive builder in me going, like you said.
Hmm.
But going back to the reason why it's such a neck snap for some newer players who have joined since 2018 is that within the span of a year and a half, they decided to switch models, and that's the problem. Is the problem isn't that they did it, the problem is the way they went about doing it. Because you're going to create this kind of whiplash effect for new and old consumers. Oh wait, so we have to worry about chasing after a super rare now?
This makes me think
So
of Michael Scott. Snip, snap, snip, snap. Go.
Yeah. What are the fundamental issues? And this isn't just WizKids. This is across the tabletop industry as a whole. And I say this to the guys who work for me: is that you don't always have to like a thing. You just got to be able to understand it.
yep.
And we often, as a fan base, as a tabletop fan base, don't always understand. We're not given the insights, and other industries do provide those insights. So that sudden shift, they will have reasons. There will be
Yeah.
reasons. Again, I think it's probably that guy with the spreadsheet who's driving that decision, um, who's looking at the profit and loss columns. But we still to this day say, why has there not been another playmat printed? you know,
Yeah. Or what
to
happened to
this day,
starter decks? Like what happened to
yeah,
starter packs? That to me is the epitome of base level play. When you can
Well,
be able to
it,
sit down and just do a two-person starter pack, and that's all you needed because it included all the basics for it.
when you had the campaign boxes, there wasn't a need for starters. Why create that delineation between the two? Campaign back campaign pack was enough to start. You can expand upon it with the team packs.
Yeah.
That's fine. But now that we're going back to draft packs, if we go back away from the LCG model back to a collectible card game, how do you get people started in the game
Yeah.
brand new? Because those other ones, most stores don't carry the shelf copies of those campaign
Yeah.
boxes.
YouTube.
They're not going to be able to pick something up to start playing the game. So I think my personal thing is there needs to be either an alternating schedule, a periodic release of a campaign set with the team packs, followed by a release or two of draft, or vice versa, two campaign boxes, one draft set. Just to so you've got those, something that can start, get the starters in there, and it's a buy one and done for your casual players. There you go. Have a collectible set for the competitive level players that really want to get into it and stuff like that. To me, that's where the best idea there. But again, as you said earlier, Six, we're so far down in the weeds on this one. We're only seeing it from our point of view. So
yeah. But I get people come out the woodwork and contact me out the blue, complete randomers that I often ask around and say, does anyone know who this guy is? And they're asking questions about, if I wanted a playmat, where would I get one? And I have to say to them, well, actually, can I point you to Pete's Designs or these designs on Etsy? Then you need to, in the UK, there's a store called Patriot Games, which kind of does a service similar to Inked Gaming over your side of the water. And I point them over to Patriot Games. No affiliation, just, although I do know them personally because
You
they
can give
help us
shout
out with.
outs on the channel. It's fine.
Well, no, it's so they help us out with the Gaming versus Cancer. They give us the
Yeah.
prize mats as a donation for free.
Good on
So
'em.
they're lovely guys over there.
Yeah.
But they're asking about playmats, or just maybe 2 or 3 weeks ago, someone messaged me saying, how do I make a full team of 8 cards? And I was like, well, what have you got? Where are you starting from? And this guy had acquired would you believe it? An Age of Ultron starter bot that had just come into his sphere. Someone had, bought it off eBay or something, and he was like, "I don't really get what's going on." And I noticed on your videos you're playing with 8 cards, and what are those 2 that you've got sideways at the top? It was like, well, where'd you go with that? So you're right. There needs to be something that allows a nice point of entry for the newer players.
That's when you say you can check out DM Armada's page, the earlier stuff. It'll tell you how to play.
Or DM
Dice
United
Masters with
has-
James and Zach had
Yeah.
some good ones. No, I mean, but
No, I think what you'll find in those circumstances, I'll say what you need to do is watch more of my videos.
There you go.
less
Where
of the
can we
game rooms.
where can we find
And
those
you'll just
videos?
pick it up as you go along.
There you go. Where can we find those videos?
You'll find them on youtube.com/the Ministry of Dice Show.
Okay. And then where can we find your podcast?
Little project I'm working on there. Teaser.
Oh, that just on whatever your podcast thing is. Just
Okay.
the app on your phone. Just type the Ministry of Dice in. I'm everywhere.
And then how's that going? Before, because we don't have a lot of time left, but before we get going, how long have you guys been doing the podcast thing?
It's our 3rd birthday in June, early June.
Awesome. That is awesome.
3 years of podcasting, and the blog, the website, BritRoller6, has been coming on 6 years now.
That's fantastic, man. That really is.
Yeah. I started out just making random blog posts on the old reserve pool page,
Hmm.
and I was just like some random guy in the United Kingdom writing about Dice Masters. I think there was only like 3 of us at the time, and one of them was my mate Billy. And they just grew from there.
That's
I'm old
amazing.
school.
Well, yeah, I love listening to your podcast. I like watching your gameplay videos. They're a lot of fun. Yeah, you guys are now the longest running podcasters, Dice Masters podcasters.
Well, we don't know if that's necessarily true. Actually, we say it to wind Isaac Vere up. Because every time
Well, they haven't put out a podcast
not.
in a while, so officially you could claim it. But if they put one out,
you North American folks are so competitive. Isaac actually went and did the maths and started adding up the number of episodes and then how long their hiatus breaks were when they took like summers off and Christmases off, and started sending me the stats. I was like, "That's great, Isaac."
Are you still doing it now, though? Because
not, but I think those guys, some of that old guard, are primed to make a return.
Yeah.
Oh, I've heard some rumblings from the grapevine that a few of the players are actually looking to come back with the release of Infinity Gauntlet.
Yeah,
that they were specifically gonna. Go ahead.
No, after you.
They were specifically gonna make the trip out to Origins and start cooperating and playing the game after 2 years away. So
we were going to do that too.
We'll see.
Yeah,
we'll see. But it's those folks who like the thrill of the chase, ready to make a return.
Yeah.
Well, we're running out of time, so you've Six.
We
you've got a
we didn't
video.
follow any of Chris's list that he sent me.
Yeah,
Well, I was going to hit one of those items real fast. You've got an ongoing video series that you've been doing. That I actually sent you some content for that you did actually publish. So why don't you give a shout out for your for that real fast?
Oh yeah, so that's the mob cribs, MOD cribs. So I won't lie to anyone. My kids watch Minecraft videos, and I saw one of their guys do a setup thing. He was showing off like his $30,000 PC and all that stuff. But once again, I drew inspiration from that other content creator. Yeah. And me and Andy did a kind of behind the scenes. This is how we get together and play on Google Hangouts. But there was an intent behind it. We're massive advocates of playing online. And we kind of just wanted to show if 2 bimbling British idiots who are numpties with computers, as has been demonstrated earlier in this stream.
Wait for it.
Oh, no, it's not going to happen.
Can get an online game going, then anybody can. If I can get made around this stuff, then anybody can. So that was kind of the intent. And also to show a bit of, I do in my dining room, and, Rob Pettifor plays in the back of his truck when he's traveling, and Troy's in his Lego room and next to an iguana and all that kind of stuff. Just to kind of show a little bit of how warm the online community are and how we are just kind of normal people that shouldn't be anxiety creating. And so I put a call out to the community and said, just take a behind the scenes video, just 2 or 3 minute video clip on your phone, fire it over to me. I'll compile it into a mod cribs, and we'll get it out there for people to see. I think some people are waning now, though. They're sort of saying, well, what can a laptop and a camera on a dining room table add to that conversation? I'm like, no,
I was going to say, yeah, I know I was in
and what you're all about.
Yeah.
I was in episode 2. So how many episodes have you guys done of the MOD Cribs?
Well, technically we're 5 in. We've got the first original one that me and Andy did, and then the 4 compilations of individuals from all over the world.
Right.
So you've almost got all the community members done now. with
Well,
live.
no, I mean I'm looking at 2/3 of a screen here that haven't.
Sorry, I'm trying.
You're not looking at me.
I can't show anything from my room.
I want to see your ceiling screen.
I work from home and I technically can't show anything because my work computer is right here, so I can't really show anything. Actually, that's
I'll
the
send
problem.
one in.
Turn that monitor off.
No, it's the setup that I can't show. So,
I'll send mine in. The audio on my camera, on my phone camera, is just trash, but I'll send one in.
Yeah, just do it, man. Nobody cares. Rough and ready. It's the internet. Unless you're Robin commenting on my blog, and then you really do care because he tells me that I record my videos on a potato and my audio is in a tin can.
Oh man,
he's a very pleasant fan. He likes your stuff though, Steve.
You want to show that you're not on a potato right now? What mic are you rocking?
I'm on this thing, yeah. It's on a bracket.
Okay. It's definitely not a potato. It doesn't sound like a potato. So
this is Which Magazine's #1 microphone, USB microphone on a budget.
nice.
I have a Rockstar game mic. That's what I run. So that's as budget as you can get, just left over from a pile. But yeah. And I know Mike did the cribs, and his was pretty good, and on that was pretty good.
Do.
Yeah.
Yep.
Like for Mike.
Yeah.
Likes for Mike's.
In fact, while you're all here, folks, I know there's 7 people watching right now. Have all 7 of you subscribed? Have all 7 of you clicked the thumbs up? Do that now. Let's see that thumbs up go up. I'm at 3 at the minute. Let's give
Rob is.
There you go, 4. Let's get a 5th one on. Come on, someone.
We're not going to go off the air until we get 10 likes.
Rob is loving you right now, Mr. Six.
Yeah, Rob is.
There you go, up to 5. There must be a 6th one out there. Come on, folks.
Actually, we're up to 7 according to me now.
Yeah, there we go. 7.
Oh, there you are. See.
Yeah.
All you needed, Rob, was.
And please feel free to
come along and.
There you go. Please feel free to like and subscribe to this guy, Mr. Six.
You don't need to. We shielded him last year. We don't need to do it again.
Always show love. Thank you so much for coming out, staying up late, drinking your tea,
And
your wakey tea.
and thanks for jumping back
10
on.
a.m.
I expect to see some interesting memes in the Discord channels tomorrow from this.
Yeah, Matt Jordo's messaged me. He's on it. He's on the job.
Oh,
he's
man.
picked up the slack. I've got a couple on my phone that I've not posted yet. Actually, that I've been. The moment's probably passed, but I'll get round to them. Go and subscribe and like on a MOD video as well while you're here.
Yeah.
Everyone. When we wrap up in a minute,
or not, you know.
Yeah. Or listen to my podcast.
Yeah,
Matt, we already gave him a shout out, but why don't you go ahead and give us give us your channel details once more, so that Matt Jordan can.
Oh yeah, Matt. So you'll find it on youtube.com/The Ministry of Dice. Unless you're a reader, in which case then you should go to brickroller6.com. Or if you're a listener, you should head on over to basically any podcast app. Just do a search for The Ministry of Dice.
You can't find it on any podcast. You don't know what you're doing on a podcast search engine. Then
absolutely, yeah. Although I do post the episodes on BritRoller6.
Yeah.
So.
You can find lovely Mr. Six and also Andy England, his cohort in Evil, over at our Discord.
Or his better half.
his better half over at at the CR game room Discord, as well as the Dice Masters Online Discord. Our details are in the link below. That's where you can find all of us.
MySpace? What the hell?
MySpace.
I don't think he has that.
Yeah, I've been banned from there. Sorry, I couldn't create a page for us there. You know.
Yeah, I've also got a forum on AOL.com.
I hear you're on Farmers Only. Also,
you still have your AIM, your AIM contact.
Farmers Only.
I think that's a good note to leave on.
I think we hit the end here.
My kids have been started calling farts. Speaking of bum whisper.
Oh my god.
We'll finish on that one for you, Chris. There you go.
All right. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Well, folks, that's for the Ministry of Dice.
Ooh.
The CR game room. I can't remember the rest of what Rob says. Come on,
In our conversations on Discord, be sure to like and subscribe. And as always, thanks for hanging out.